Your parents have more power over your reality than God. And until you can cultivate a frequency stronger than the one that your parents instilled into you, you will become your parents. Now, if you actually pay attention to the universe, understanding that there is no universe with a U, but a YO universe, you'll come to the understanding that the universe treats you exactly like your parents did. And depending upon how your parents treated you will determine the current predicament that you're in until you have the capability of either alchemizing or transcending that particular frequency that they installed in you. And in this video, I'm not only going to show you why the universe treats you like your parents did, how it treats you like they did, but how you can alter the way that the universe is treating you so you can begin to live in a reality that actually is your desired reality. Because as we always say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality. And right now, you're worshiping your parents, just like our boy is praying here. AJ said that he don't look like he's praying, but
he's got no feet. He's got no.
He's praying, worshiping his parents, and so are you. And I mean that from a point of vibration. And as you can see, Uncle Ruckus over is sad, and his child is sad. Hopefully, Uncle Ruckus never has a child. If you know who that is, and if you don't, I can't help you. Let's get into it.
Bro said, I hope Uncle Ruckus don't have a child. Why?
Have you ever watched the Boondocks?
He's a drunken, isn't it?
A drunken? No.
No, what's wrong with him?
He hates black people and he's black. Okay. You wanna know? Tonight's the night to let it go. I'll put on a show. I wanna see how you lose control. So leave it behind, 'cause we have a night to get away. So baby, don't worry, you are my only. You won't be lonely, even if the sky is falling down. Yo, he cooked, man. All right, guys, relax, you're gonna get some. So, there's a couple of things that we need to understand here. On a base premise, I'm going to explain to you the way that your parents actually programmed you. And yes, this is going to do with what you heard to do with the particular brainwave states that you were in as a child. But more importantly, the one language of the subconscious mind that your parents had access to 24/7 to quite literally imprint that into you. And there's two important things when we have to understand about the subconscious mind, and I've already made a video about this, but the first thing that you have to understand is the subconscious mind can only be programmed in a state of relaxation. And I say relaxation because anytime that you're in a particular degree of relaxation, you actually alter the brain waves that your brain produces into either theta or alpha. Theta, I believe, is 4 to 8 hertz, and alpha, I'm not too sure, but it's even slower. And these two particular degrees of brain waves essentially are much slower than the natural brainwave state that you're currently in, which is beta. Now, due to the fact that they move slower, it allows for particular ideas to latch onto the subconscious mind much more easy, because these two particular brainwaves are the bridge to your subconscious. And because these two particular brainwaves are the bridge to the subconscious mind, your subconscious mind is the womb of your reality. And whatever is within your subconscious reality will be given birth to in your external reality. Now, I reiterate, relaxation, anytime you're in relaxation, your brain's producing alpha and theta. These brainwaves are slow, which allows for ideas to latch onto these particular brainwaves. And these two brainwaves are known as the bridge to the subconscious mind. Anytime you see somebody in a state of hypnosis, and yes, I can hypnotize, or let me not chat shit, I've only ever hypnotized one person. It was actually quite cool though. Like, I stopped them from being able to lift up their arms, and I also stopped them from being able to move. You should let me try on you. Let me.
Crazy cat.
On my mom's life. For the Americans, that means on my mama, on my mom's life. But anyways, as I was saying, these two particular brainwaves are the bridge to the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the womb of your reality. It's the inner dimension. It is quite literally the internal world, which is a one-to-one copy of the external world. I need you to understand the mind and reality are one. You need to stop seeing them as separate, and it's your inability to actually see them as one and directly interconnected, which is the explanation as to why you think that you can allow certain things to be entertaining into your head and you're shocked when it pops up in your reality. Now, going back to what I was saying, growing up, let's say you grow up with your parents, these individuals are always around you any moment where you can be relaxed, whether you're asleep, half asleep, just chilling. Anytime that you're in a state of relaxation, I need you to understand this is the prerequisite to any particular degree of subconscious programming. And this is one instance. I'll show you the other instance very shortly.
You know, my favorite comment. Ajane's music frequency is way higher than yours, Nero.
That's not true at all.
He said Jay-Z's a better businessman. Nas rap way too deep.
Nas raps way too deep.
I hear it.
Said no one ever. It's probably a bot. It's probably fake.
Nah, he's real.
You know the internet's full of bots these days. It's fake. AJ, the guy that doesn't know any songs at all.
Bruh. Nero the Drake hater.
I don't hate Drake. We'll get into that, but let me do this first. So the second way that your subconscious mind is going to be programmed to any particular degree is through emotional charge. And in this, you have to understand that the only language of the subconscious mind is emotion. That is the only language of the subconscious mind. Of course, there's instances where people prefer repetition, but that's kind of like brute force algorithm, which is an algorithm that hackers use to gain access to somebody's device through trying infinite amount of passwords as many times as possible. It's a long-winded way of doing things. But the most efficient way to program the subconscious mind is through emotion. And that's due to the fact that emotion is the language of God. And God is consciousness, specifically the highest degree of consciousness. And consciousness is matter in a particular altered state of vibration. It has a different rate of vibration, but it's the exact same substance. So consciousness is quite literally reality. In the same way that steam and ice are the same energy, the only thing that separates steam and ice is the rate of vibration. You can't grab steam, you can't grab consciousness, the mind, or imagination. But if you alter the rate of vibration of steam, it can turn into ice, which is something that is tangible and something that you can hold. And it's the exact same thing with imagination into matter, which that matter eventually begins to form your world. So your mind is literally your world. But emotional charge is the other way to program the subconscious mind. Any particular degree of belief that is in your subconscious mind is only there due to either a conscious or unconscious amount of emotional charge. And that emotional charge is powerful. So that belief, due to that emotion, actually enters your subconscious, and then when it's in your subconscious, it begins to form in your reality, and in your reality you will determine that is a truth. You will determine that it's true that I can't do this, it's true that this is hard for me, it's true that this doesn't work for me, it's true this, it's true this, it's true that. But I'd like to ask you, what is the point of a truth if it doesn't serve you? And it's the understanding that there are no truths, they're just ideas wearing the masks of truths. In the Hermetic tradition, they say all truths are half truths. And this comes down to the understanding that polarity, or everything comes in two particular pairs of opposites. So it is true in one instance, but there's actually no truth in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. And once you begin to see a reality through that lens, then you need to begin to ask yourself, are the things that I've accepted as true things that contribute to my desired reality? If not, then what is the fucking point of keeping them around? And what you'll come to a conclusion of is that a lot of things are actually just there to control you as opposed to serve you. Now, emotional charge in combination with relaxation is exactly how your subconscious mind is programmed. Now, going back to the reference or the statement that I made earlier in saying that your parents have more control over your reality than God, it is true. And it's true because what you need to understand about God is that God isn't what religion has conceptualized God to be. Somebody who's sat in the sky dictating the cause of human events and what takes place and what doesn't take place and what happens to this person and this happens to this person, so on and so forth. God is a particular degree of impersonal but also personal state of consciousness that in a sense is more of an observer than a creator. God is a creator, created the universe, but then that aspect of God is within you, the infinite within the finite. God is within you, in your mind. Hence Corinthians, you are the dwelling place, the temple of God. It also says Solomon said the temple of God was not built with hands. So I need you niggas to understand it's not about church, it's not about praise and worship, it's not about offerings, although church food always bangs, like church food is always great. But even on that point, I need you to understand you are the temple of God. and God dwells within you. And anything that you give to God, God will then give back to you in your reality. So before you desire anything in this reality, ask yourself, have you given it to yourself? And more often than not, you haven't. Now, this is all going to be interconnected with your parents. Relax, you're going to get some. But going back to the point that I was saying, your parents are the individuals that have had the most chances to actually create an emotional charge, whether negative or positive. And whether it's negative or positive, so long as the emotional charge is strong, it will enter the subconscious mind. I repeat, whether it's negative or positive, that's not important. What is important is the intensity and the strength of the emotional charge of a particular situation or an event or a circumstance that you go through. That's what's important. And then they also have access to you in your most relaxed states. And because of that, they actually gain the most access to your subconscious mind. And anything that is in your subconscious mind is in your reality. Your reality is your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is your reality. So when I say to you, your parents have more power over your reality than God, you understand what I'm saying now. They've had as many chances, the most chances, to impress and program your subconscious mind. And whatever is in your subconscious mind will be in your reality. I repeat, whatever is in your subconscious mind will be in your reality. And because your parents have had the most access and the most chances and the most accessibility to your subconscious mind, they have either done the most damage or helped you the most. And I like to preface this. Well, first of all, make sure you're taking notes and leave them in the comments as always. I like to preface this particular video with saying that this is actually going to be kind of intense. This is going to be very emotional. There's going to be something, but I need you to understand this. You've been operating on fuel for most of your life that can only take you up to a certain point. And until we have the ability to transmute that dark into light, the negative experiences that we went through in our childhood, so on and so forth, you will keep running on the same fuel. And in order for you to go to the next level, you need more powerful fuel. You need cleaner fuel, which is exactly what we're going to be doing here. So before you niggas start dropping comments talking about, you don't know what my parents did to me and you don't know what I went through, cool. I need you to understand that all of that shit, that's not even coming from you. That's coming from the trauma within you that wants to stay there. So don't even bother commenting any of that type of stuff. Because as I said, if something doesn't serve you, then it's only there to control you. So what we're going to do right now is go on a process of parental trauma transmutation. Because I truly do need you to understand. The universe will treat you exactly like your parents did. Now, relax, you're gonna get some.
Someone said King of R&B, R. Kelly, but cancelled. Usher, but cancelled too. So now we have to go with Drake.
Drake is the king of R&B. Yo, ban that nigga from this channel. Yo, ban him. Can we ban people from channels?
Unfortunately, I can't do that. I agree. Drake is the GOAT?
No, he's not. R. Kelly is the GOAT of R&B. Robert Kelly needs to be locked up forever. For eternity. And then after eternity, buried under prison. But that's the truth, bro. And then after that, how can you get to Usher? I didn't know Usher was cancelled. Why is Usher cancelled?
I didn't know Usher was cancelled too, to be honest.
Supposedly, all the money of the streams from R. Kelly goes to his victims, I believe.
Yeah, I've heard.
But how are you gonna go to Drake? Usher, how's he gonna miss Keith Sweat? How's he gonna miss Neo?
You really putting Keith Sweat as king of R&B?
No, but I'm putting him as better R&B than Drake.
Nah, I still wouldn't. Keith Sweat's an OG, but nah.
You're being ridiculous. You're actually ridiculous. How can you even say Usher, R. Kelly, and Drake in the same sentence for R? Does that even make sense? What about Neo?
I feel like Jeremiah
gotta change my
Neo.
answering machine.
Bro, it's just these
Now
one
that I'm
tunes.
alone. One tunes.
One tunes.
One tune.
Cause right now it says that we
No, bro.
can't get to the phone.
She's a monster, beautiful monster.
Decent, 6 out of 10.
1 in a million. You are, baby, you're the best thing. You don't know about Neo. That's what it is. So what are you talking about, Drake?
That's a banger.
It's a banger, isn't
It's
it?
a banger.
All right, cool. Guys, I need you to understand one thing in particular. As I said to you, the universe treats you exactly like your parents did. I've explained the how, but now we need to explain the why. Why? I need you to understand this. So, it's always going to be one thing, and this is what I do with my clients in particular. And shout out my client Sean. He closed I think it was 1.2 million in a deal that he'd been struggling to close for weeks. So shout out to you, Sean. But anyways, I need you to understand, the universe treats you like your parents did. And what I mean by that is it's always going to be one thing. It's just one thing that got me tripping. And what I mean by that is this: there's always going to be one central focal pattern that your mind tends to revolve around. And whatever that pattern is that your mind tends to revolve around, you'll always see traces of it in your reality. And I'll give you an example like this. On my knees, no diddy. So I need you to get it like this. And take me in now. Take me in. Pause again. If your parents doubted you often, then guess what? Your universe is going to give you instances to doubt yourself. If your parents were hard on you, then guess what the universe is going to do? The universe is going to be hard on you and give you circumstances that make you feel like life is just hard on you. If your parents ignored you, then guess what the universe is going to do? Ignore you. It's going to make you feel like no one's out there and no one's seeing you. If your parents were disappointed in you, then the universe is going to give you instances to be disappointed in yourself. And once you actually begin to start thinking about it, I want you to ask yourself, how did my parents actually treat me growing up? How did they treat you? Because if you ask yourself that question and you follow through with that question, you're going to reach a conclusion. And that conclusion is that the way that they treated you is always going to be how you feel the world has treated you. And that's deep. You're probably like, whoa, fuck. Pew. And it's more serious than you think, right? For example, if your parents abused you, then you're going to feel like the world is consistently abusing you. If your parents took advantage of you, then you're going to feel like everything in your reality is something that's a reflection of you being taken advantage of. And I truly do need you to gain the ability to analyze yourself and actually look back on your childhood. You niggas keep asking me, what's the best book to read? The best book to read is the chapters of your life. That's a bar, write that down. Specifically, of course, the previous chapters of your life. Because the more time that you actually spend centralizing attention to the way that you're actually cultivated, the more that this is going to make sense to you. Because through each one of these particular things, no matter how they treated you, is always going to be one focal pattern, like I said. If your parents made you feel like your existence made you feel like you're a burden, again, guess what the world is going to treat you like? The world is going to treat you as if you're a burden. If your parents made you feel unlovable, then guess how the world is going to make you feel? Unlovable. Why? Why? I'm asking you. Yeah, why? Why are you shaking your head? What? You know why. It goes back to exactly what we started this with. The understanding in which the subconscious mind is particularly programmed is in a state of relaxation, which is either alpha or theta. Alpha or theta is 4 to 8 hertz, which is the bridge to the subconscious mind, which means quite literally the door to the subconscious mind is open and anything can just walk in. Now, in combination with that, it's also emotional charge, because emotion is the language of God. Emotion is energy emotion, which emits an energetic signature, which we call a vibration, which eventually builds momentum and becomes a frequency. And frequency is just interchangeable term for consciousness. And consciousness is nothing more than the rate of vibration of matter in a completely altered different state. And matter is what your world is made out of. So we understand that. So the way that your parents treated you, the centralizing theme or the centralizing emotion or feeling in particular that you have when you think back to how your parents treated you, you're always going to see traces of that in your reality. And it's fucked up. I wish parents could understand the damage that they can do to a child's subconscious mind. Because the unfortunate part about it is that we then go through our lives, living our lives, not knowing why certain things are happening, not knowing why we feel like the world is treating us as if we're a burden, why the world is making us feel ignored, why the world is consistently making us doubt ourselves, why the world is hard on us, why the world is reflecting things that continuously make us feel disappointed. And it's all because they did. Now, bear in mind, I'm not going to enable any aspect of you, of your frequency or the trauma of you that wants you to victimize yourself and continuously stay in that reality. Like I told you, don't even bother telling me, you know, oh, you don't get it because I went through this and they did that. Don't even waste your time over here with that, because that's not what we're on over here. I need you to understand, awareness is the first step to transmutation. That's a bar, write that down. And until you're aware of something, you can't actually alter its vibration. And through this kind of deep introspective self-analysis, I want you to come to the conclusion of what it is that your parents made you feel. Because what you're going to realize is that it always comes up in traces of your life, and it will follow you through to the rest of your life. Hence the statement that I made at the start of this video. Until you have the capability of overcoming the frequency that your parents instilled in you, you will become your parents. And this is what we call generational curses. And I got a whole video on how to break generational curses. So go watch that if you haven't, right? But this is how it begins. And you're probably thinking, why does the universe do that? Well, actually, let me get some. Let me show you. Let me show you. AJ, your boy Drake's going out bad, man.
Don't believe the rumors,
How's he
bro.
suing the God, bro?
Don't believe it.
You know, Kendrick Lamar is who he thinks he is. You know, like that.
Boo.
Like, how's he going? What do you actually have to say about that? Because you're like, obviously, you're like Drake's top, like, gobbler. So, like,
I'm not top. I'm
alright,
top
cool.
20.
How's he going out like that?
Bro, Kendrick did pay for streams.
You know what it is? Kendrick said in Euphoria, I'm what the culture feeling. And clearly he showed it.
Ain't nobody feeling Kendrick.
AJ, statistically,
Apart from
culturally,
you.
it just doesn't suffice, my friend.
You know, Drake actually brought Kendrick back to life. You should thank him. Without Drake, there wouldn't be another Kendrick album right now.
And don't get it twisted. You think I don't like Drake? I don't not like Drake. I think Drake is hard. Pause.
Whoa.
Drake is really, he's like that for real. But he just gotta affirm this one. You just gotta take the L. And that's okay. Like, it's actually okay.
Nah.
No, come on, man. He's been a sore loser. You can't start a fight. You can't, he didn't even start the fight, let's say. But you can't get into a fight with somebody, antagonize them, then lose, then go tell the teacher. Does that make sense?
Hey,
Come on, bro.
kids in school did that.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You're actually mad glazing right now.
You're mad. Have you listened to Kendrick's album?
Of course I have.
How was it?
Woke up looking for the broccoli swabber. He's hard, bro.
Out of 10, what was the album?
Out of 10, it's not my favorite. My favorite is Good Kid, Mad City, of course, which I feel like is very basic. But out of 10, I give this an easy 8.5 because everything. We don't even need to get into this. We don't even need to get into this.
You need help.
Yeah.
8.5.
Yeah.
Bro, the album's no more than.
You haven't listened to it. Stop lying.
I haven't listened. But
So how the fuck are you gonna shut up, man?
From the first song, that album's no more than a 6.5.
Get out of here, man.
I know what Kendrick's like already. I know he's put on that dumb voice. You know what voice he puts on.
Shut up, man. So, Going back to the point of why the universe works the way that it does, I need you to understand something. It's commonly said in this manifestation space, or the reality creation space, or the spiritual nigga space, whatever you want to call it. It's commonly said that your thoughts create reality. Well, that's a lie. Thoughts don't actually create reality. Not all thoughts are made equal. The only thoughts that actually create reality are thoughts that are emotionally charged. Write that down. And the reason I say that is for you to understand this. Emotion is the largest shareholder of your frequency. Your frequency, every frequency must become a reality. That's non-negotiable. That's just the way reality is set up. Every frequency must become a reality. Every reality is first a frequency. And emotion is the largest shareholder of your frequency. Going back to the statement that I was just making before in regards to the one thing that hopefully now you've kind of discovered and you've had that light bulb moment of, if you could, conceptualize everything, every culmination, every experience in the way that your parents treated you in one particular emotion or one feeling, once you find that feeling, what you're going to come to the realization of is that that feeling is always going to have traces in your reality. It's almost going to be silently playing in the background of your life, altering and infecting every single experience to reflect that particular one thing. And it's important that you discover that thing. I can't discover that thing for you. Only you can, but you're a smart person, so your mind has probably already got ideas. So make sure you note down those ideas and you find it. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And I always say that there's an invisible string that connects the mind and reality. Most people will never ever get to see that string. They'll never ever see that connection and they'll live their life not understanding cause and effect. But once you strengthen that string between the mind and reality, what you're going to come to a conclusion of is that your reality is directly interconnected to your mind. And this is what we're unfolding here. But going back to what I was saying, that one thing, essentially, if we're just to simplify it, is one particular emotional state. And emotion is the majority of frequency. And the universe does two things to frequencies. And I spoke about this in my video, The Beginner's Guide to the Universe, but I'll go over it again because I love you niggas. Now, the thing that it does in particular is two things. The first thing, I'll write up here, is magnify. Whatever particular one thing, one emotional feeling that you have, the universe will magnify it. What do I mean by this? It will make you feel more of it by using people, conditions, circumstances, and events. So for example, going back to the point that I said before, if your parents doubted you your entire childhood and they made you second guess yourself, then the universe is going to treat you in a way that magnifies that particular feeling, which is self-doubt. And it will use people to make you doubt yourself. It will use certain specific conditions to make you doubt yourself. It will make circumstances make you doubt yourself, and it will create events that make you doubt yourself. And you can extrapolate this to whatever the feeling is that you were feeling. If you was ignored, then the universe will take that feeling of you being ignored. It will use people to make you feel more ignored. It will use conditions to make you feel more ignored. It will use circumstances to make you feel more ignored. And it will use events to make you feel more ignored. The universe simply does that because the truth of the matter is, you see the universe as its own separate system. No, the universe is a system that is within you. I need you to stop using universe with a U and start using universe with a Y-O-U, because this is the only universe that exists. And once you begin to see yourself not as separate from the universe, but one with the universe, if this is the song that's been silently playing in the background of your life, then why wouldn't it show up in your reality? AJ's nodding his head. That means we're
cooking up.
Now, the second thing that the universe does, after it's magnified one particular state, is maintain. it will want to maintain that frequency. Bear in mind, the universe is impersonal. Gravity will kill the nicest of niggas and the worst of niggas. Electricity will shock the nicest person and the worst person. I need you to understand that the universe's nature is impersonal. Acts 10:34, God is no respecter of persons. God is consciousness. Consciousness is impersonal energy. Universal laws are directly impersonal energies. If you read the Kabbalion, it says it's immutable. So it's not like it hates you. It's not like it likes you. We begin to think that some people are favored. The people that are favored are the ones that are self-favored. We think that some people are blessed. The people that are blessed are self-blessed. The people that we think are lucky are the people that have decided and determined their frequency to be lucky. And that's what you need to come to the understanding of. You need to detach yourself from this idea of externalization and come to the idea of internalization, because then the universe will seek to maintain that frequency. Why would it want to maintain me getting absolutely fucked, Nero? Let me explain why. Energetic equilibrium. If you see the if you see the universe as a system, systems are supposed to be convenient. Systems are supposed to be convenient and comfortable. When the universe has one particular frequency calibrated for somebody, it will almost do its best to make sure that that frequency stays balanced and in line. Balanced and in line. Why? Because it's convenient for it's convenient for itself. It's energetic convenience. It's easy if everybody stays in line. So I don't have to do much. If they just stay in line, my job's easy. And that's how the universe begins to think. So hence why anytime you feel like you're trying to do better and you try to go out, the universe, almost like a hammer, hammers you back into line, to which we begin to experience this particular degree of adversity. And I need you to understand, there was an occultist, the man who so-called discovered gravity, Sir Isaac Newton. He said for every force, there's an equal and opposite force. So for every force, so let's say you go 10 steps forward, does that mean you have to go 10 steps down? No. What it means in the realm of metaphysics is that you set in motion the potentiality to experience 10 steps down. But that information, that energy can go from potentiality to actuality very quickly, which is often what happens when you begin to emotionally react to circumstances. Hence why you need to be able to practice a certain degree of emotional discipline, because when you practice emotional discipline, what you're actually practicing is energetic discipline. And when you begin to discipline energy, you begin to discipline reality, because reality is nothing more than energy. That was poof, write that down. But these are the two particular M's of the universe that, based upon whatever experiences that you went through, the totality of that experience into one, let's say, focal emotion, the universe will magnify that. It will use people in your life to make you feel more of that. Conditions, circumstances, events, and then when it's made you feel that, it will have one particular role. That one particular role is to maintain a certain degree of energetic equilibrium, because if it can maintain that energetic equilibrium, essentially that's just a fancy way of saying it wants you to keep feeling what you're feeling. Which is why, even when you have these particular discussions, there's probably an aspect of you that's thinking, this fucking nigga Nero, he doesn't even know what I went through. He doesn't even get it. Like he wasn't there. And what you need to understand, you need to begin to distinguish these particular, let's say, voices or urges of yourself as apart from you, and seeing them as what they are, which is separate entities. They're the culmination of thought forms. It's its own entity. Your trauma is its own entity. And anytime you begin to pull away from that trauma, your trauma is going to want to do one thing, and that's to latch onto you and completely stay there as much as it possibly can. Because if it can do that, then it can continue to feed off your energy. And once you begin to maintain and stay with it, it rewards you. It will be like, yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, and it will make you feel good. It will be a comfortable feeling. But when you watch something like this, there's a certain level of uncomfortability when we're talking about these things, and this urge for it to almost victimize yourself and reiterate your own experience and reinforce your experience. And that is it, just trying to stay around. I need you to understand that is not you, that is it. And you need to begin to understand that these entities, more often than not, follow niggas around like shinigamis from Death Note.
I miss Death Note.
Me too, but
way better than Hunter x Hunter.
Let's not get ridiculous. You need to watch Dandadan.
Was that what you was watching the other day?
Yeah.
That looks like nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
What's it about?
You'll see, bro.
I still need to watch Hunter x Hunter anyway. I got like 10 episodes left.
You need to finish it, bro. somebody commented on the last video, of course, Nero, where did you learn all this from? Like, where did you learn all this from? Dexter Morgan and Arthur Shelby. I can't take myself serious, guys. Please don't go searching them. Dexter's literally that that TV show, the guy that's just chopping bare people up, and Arthur Shelby is Peaky Blinders. Tommy's drunk, brother.
You know, someone said, "You just fucked my brain, put it aside, and made it your side piece."
What? He said what?
Yeah.
I fucked his brain, put it aside, and made it my side piece.
Yeah. Congrats.
Now, there's a couple of things that we need to do before we get into the process of alchemization, which is the final step in what we're going to be doing. But of course, first you have to understand how the subconscious mind was programmed. Then you need to understand how that one particular pattern emanates itself and why the universe will then treat you in exactly how your parents treated you. Then you need to begin to understand the two M's of the universe and how they magnify and then maintain that particular frequency. But the next thing, and this is probably going to be the hardest thing, pause, and that is you getting to the understanding of seeing things differently. I need you to understand something. Bear in mind, I like to preface this with saying, I'm not negating their responsibility, I'm just enhancing yours. Or empowering yours. This is your parents' first time living life too. And your parents are nothing more than a program. They can be no more than a program. They may not have the level of awareness that you do to have the ability to be able to find videos like this and take notes and begin to implement these things into your reality. But I need you to almost dissipate the energy, because what you have to understand is, going back to the point that I said earlier, the subconscious mind is programmed by one thing, that's emotional charge. The emotional charge that most of our parents hold over our heads is so powerful and so strong that even before I get you to do the point of alchemization, there's going to be a degree of resistance due to how strong that emotional charge is. So what we need to do, we need to begin to dissipate that energy. I don't know why that looks crazy, but
What? What's that?
it's supposed to say dissipate. I know it don't look like it.
Right.
Guys, forgive me, man. I'm not an artist. Anyways. No, all jokes aside, we need to actually begin to dissipate that energy. And the only way we can begin to dissipate that energy is through an alteration in your perception, because your perception is always going to equal to your projection. They say until you change the way you look at life, life won't change the way it looks at you. Until you change the way you look at your parents won't be able to look at you any differently. When I say your parents, I don't mean them as the human beings on this planet or not. I mean them as the energetic signatures that they may be, because that's what they truly represent. You know, some people's parents can pass away and they can still feel like their parents have a grip over them. And it's because, if anything, your parents are energetic signatures that exist within you primarily. Hence my point. Your parents aren't necessarily human beings. They're programs, they're energies, they're frequencies that exist within you. And until you can alter your perception towards seeing them as this big thing with so much kind of, you know, charge, you won't be able to actually do the next step. So I need you to dissipate that energy by, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because it's difficult. You know, I've had my own difficulty doing this over the years, so on and so forth. But you actually need to begin to just understand that it's your parents' first time living too. It's their first time experiencing Earth. It's their first time experiencing everything that you've experienced. And your parents are nothing more than programs. Most of our parents were unfortunate to receive programs from their parents who were in a completely different world. And the world that we live in is completely different now. And of course, traces of their programs from their parents can then trickle down into you. But I actually need you to begin to kind of de-pedestalize this perception towards your parents and how powerful they are, because a lot of people make it seem as if their parents are the devil, and they very well might be. And I don't mean the entity of the devil, I mean the power of the devil, like they just have so much force and strength over you. But the power and the strength that your parents have over you is nothing more than strength that you have within yourself that you've just projected onto them. And until we redirect that, you won't be able to have the strength you need to lift up your current reality into your desired reality. That's a bar that down. But like I said, I just need you to dissipate that energy by altering your perception towards your parents and actually having a particular degree of either sympathy or empathy. And when I say this, bear in mind, before you say, oh, you don't know what they did. I'm not saying it as a way to negate their responsibility. I'm not saying it as a way for them to, get off scot-free for the things that they may or may not have done. I'm saying it as a way to empower your energy, because you have to come to this understanding that anytime we enter a particular degree of sympathy or empathy, this is when we begin to transcend the illusion of duality and we begin to see ourselves as one. And you need to begin to see yourselves as one with your parents and the energy that they are. And once you begin to see them as that and no longer as your parents, then things tend to be a lot different. Now, the alchemy part. I want you to stay.
Baby, are you done talking?
You're singing your people's music.
Never.
She don't want designer. She don't want Ferrari. She stay want my love. Oh. You belong to me and I belong to her.
Long time we not kill her.
Hey bro, you're jumping all over the world now.
Gotta go back to my roots.
AJ, your roots are Nigeria or Ghana?
Roots.
Your roots are Nigeria or Ghana?
Jamaica. Gaza forever.
Introducing Vanessa Blink as Gaza sleep.
I knew you was Jamaican.
Me nah go get we never get we. Me said I was the boom.
Dedicated to the mountain.
Boom, 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 boom. Now, guys, I like to say this, and this is very serious. The actual, process that I'm about to give you is actually something that I give to my clients on our second call. And one of my clients actually went from making 2 million for 7 years straight to securing a contract for 10.8 million in 5 weeks. So shout out to you, Mr. Opulent. And the thing that really, and he still talks about this to this day, that was months ago. We was just on a session this week and he was talking about this. The thing that really kind of catapulted him was exactly the process that I'm about to give you right now. So if you are an entrepreneur who's stuck at a revenue ceiling and you want to break out in the next 7 weeks and 2 to 5 extra revenue, then link in the description. But here's the process. Now, it's important that we understand a couple of things first as a preface. So let me just write the preface over here. A couple of things is this. You have to understand that the subconscious mind doesn't adhere to time. I repeat, the subconscious mind does not adhere to time. Time is an illusion that only exists within this third dimensional realm, but your subconscious mind is the aspect of you that is closest to the infinite potentiality or the infinite intelligence or the or God. And bear in mind that particular aspect of you is above the illusion. So time isn't something that exists to the subconscious mind. So technically, your childhood experiences are actually playing in your head right now. Going back to the example that I gave earlier, it's silently playing in the background of your life in ways that you're even unaware of, actually. And because it's just silently in the background, other people can hear it. Because understand this, your frequency speaks before you've even spoken. That's a borrow that down. And that can be extrapolated to the people you meet, the opportunities that you want to materialize, the deals, the jobs, the romantic relationships, whatever. Your frequency speaks before you've even spoken. And that frequency will begin to alter each and every aspect of your world that you walk in to be reflective of it. And the other thing is that the mind can't distinguish between reality and imagination. It can't. And because it can't, that allows us to take advantage of alchemizing the experience that you went through. Now, here's the thing. I can't tell you what this is, only you can. but you'll know it the moment that I say it. There's one particular experience that you went through in your childhood that has just stayed in your mind with you. And this is in direct connection to the one thing. And that one memory, that one experience that is vivid at the top of your head, instantly, when you just remember, you don't even have to think about it. I want you to take that memory and I want you to not imagine, I want you to re-experience it. And when I say experience, I mean get into a deeply meditative state. First, get relaxed. You can be laying down, and it's not necessarily about how much time you're laying down for. It might take you 5 minutes to get relaxed. It might take you 15. It might take you 30. It might take you an hour. Just in your mind, and you're like, yeah, I'm relaxed now. Do this. I want you to re-experience that one memory, that you'd say is the strongest instance of feeling that one thing. But instead of you experiencing it as the negative experience that it was, I want you to alter that experience and recreate it to be a positive. Specifically, if once we understand duality, the polarity of the emotion that you experience. And I'll give an example. So let's say that you had an experience where there's just one instance where your family made you feel like something was your fault, or something, made you feel like a burden. Let's say that that's the one thing, if we're just to conceptualize it quite simply. Let's say we take that experience, that memory. As you begin to experience it, I need you to recreate it and experience the polarity of what you felt. So the opposite of feeling like a burden would be feeling cherished. So then you'd create that memory in your head while you're in your deeply meditative state, because once you do that, the conscious mind will be out the way, and the logic portion of your brain that says this ain't real will get the fuck out the way. And I want you to experience the opposite polarity of the negative that you experienced in that particular memory. So recreate it to then alter it, and you feel cherished, whatever it may be. Whether it's them saying how much they love you, how much they appreciate you, how grateful they are for your existence. And like I said, extrapolate this to whatever it is. So if they made you feel self-doubt, then the opposite of doubt would be certainty and confidence. Recreate that memory. Just as it's about to be the negative experience, you alter it and make it something that's positive. Now, if you begin to do this every single day, what you're going to end up doing is dissipating that energy of that negative experience. And what you're going to do, the only way to program the subconscious mind is to create either a more powerful or an equal emotional charge to whatever it is that you're trying to replace. And if you do this continuously, you will do that. And once you do that, you will have transmuted the dark into light. The purpose of why we are here simplistically, before getting into, the infinite amount of answers, by the way, because surely there's an infinite amount of answers, because the nature of our creator is infinite. But the simplistic answer is transmutation. And now you have everything you need. Now, instead of the universe treating you like your parents did, you can get the universe to treat you how you want it to.